house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. I've been practicing this speech a little bit. Did I rush you? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and with me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Howdy.
With us on the ones and twos, Justin the Russian Concussion Mascaro.
What's going on?
This is episode 192. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. This is our college football week 0 episode. It's officially back. We've made it through the dark days, and we have meaningful football on the horizon, days away. We are going to dive into all of our best bets for week 0 among plenty of other topics that we got to touch on before we get to that. First things first, hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening, specifically on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit subscribe and then head on over to the YouTube page and hit subscribe there as well. We would really appreciate it. It helps us out quite a bit. Big Easy Bets is brought to you by BetStamp. We've gone over it multiple times. We're going to go over it again. If you're looking for a place to bet on week 0, you need to head over to signupexpert.com/BigEasyBets. Click the link, pick your favorite sportsbook, take advantage of the sign up and promo offers, and get some free bets, place it on one of these games. We're going to make some money this year, so it starts with week 0. It helps us out tremendously. You can follow creators on there who are giving out their bets. All of our bets will be given out on the YouTube page and on the podcast itself, though. We got a lot to get into. I ask you every year, are you excited?
Yeah. I'm excited, mainly to watch.
You can't get to week 0's the appetizer. You cannot get to the main course until you get to the appetizer. I love week 0. I count down the days for it to come back. As soon as it's over, I'm counting down the days. You can't get to meaningful games until you get to week 0. So we are here now. Let's touch on, I got a few things that I wrote down that I want to talk about. We'll start with the Saints. An underwhelming second preseason game. Also, too, on a sidebar, I was told that YouTube could bury our episode if we curse within the first 5 minutes. We've talked about that before. So the countdown is on. We are at approaching 3 minutes. We got to hit the 5-minute mark before we can curse. So we're going to try to not do that. The Saints had an underwhelming second preseason game, I would say, but the offense did lead a 15-16 play, 95-yard touchdown drive. How'd you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't think there's any bright spots, you know.
I felt like it was a drive riddled with fourth down conversions, errant throws, like poorly placed balls by Derek Carr, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
And I'm really not trying to be like this ultimate pessimist when it comes to Derek Carr. It just kind of is playing out that way. I don't think he's very good. But there was a lot of throws where he's hanging these receivers out to dry. So somebody's going to get hurt. Half the team seems to be hurt. Going to California doesn't seem like it was the best idea because everybody's banged up, dealing with a back injury or a knee injury or something. But they did cap off an impressive 95-yard drive, multiple 4 or 5 wide looks, but I don't know. I don't know how you feel. I just don't know what was promising about it. Obviously, the main talk of the preseason has been the backup quarterback battle between Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler, and they looked solid in the first game, not so much in the second game at all. Nobody really looked great. I do think Spencer Rattler's got talent, though.
Yeah.
I think he's got extremely high-level arm talent. It just looks different. You see Derek Carr, which he's older, don't get me wrong, but you see Derek Carr, it's like he's putting everything into that ball, whereas Spencer Rattler, just effortless. It's flying out of his hand. We've got 20 seconds to go till 5 minutes, and then we got to touch on Kurt Benkert. Did y'all see what Kurt Benkert said?
Yeah.
Justin, did you?
I did not.
Do you know who Kurt Benkert is?
I do not.
Okay.
I don't know who he is either.
Yeah, you and pretty much everybody else. So Kurt Benkert is maybe the 18th best quarterback to ever play at Virginia. Kurt Benkert made a video because he was talking about the Saints, and he said that the Saints might be the worst team in the NFL. So I go, okay, who's Kurt Benkert? And I go to Google, who's Kurt Benkert? And Google, I mean, it's tough to find out who Kurt Benkert is. They're like, do you mean Kurt Warner? Did you mean Kurt Schilling? Kurt Russell? You got to really dig to find out who the fuck is Kurt Benkert. But when you do, you pull up that he played on an NFL team, a couple teams. I use the term played very lightly. I was like, okay, let's check out his stats. Let's see how good he was. Kurt Benkert had, as a quarterback, 2 carries for -1 yards. That's his entire career stat line.
Couldn't get the old QB sneak done, huh?
I think they might have threw him in there to kneel it a couple times, Kurt. I don't really know. It's clickbait. Call him clickbait, Kurt, whatever you want. He said we're going to win 1 game. Then he put out another video where he said that all Saints fans are delusional, thinking they have a Super Bowl team. Buddy, nobody thinks we're winning the goddamn Super Bowl. Nobody. So it's clickbait. It is what it is. He's getting the reaction he wants because this is a guy who trained his entire life to be a professional quarterback, made it to the pinnacle, did not contribute one positive thing to an NFL football team, 2 rushing attempts as a quarterback for -1 yards. He's talking about the Saints are going to win 1 game. He doesn't have 1 completion, let alone 1 yard. And we're talking about 1 game. I will bet my house. If Kurt Benkert wants to bet, he can pay me $1,000 if the Saints win more than 1 game. I'll give him my fucking house if they win 1 game or less. Kurt Benkert thinks that the Saints. On another note, never trust anybody with the same name in the first and last name. Kurt Benkert, talking Ben Benson, Will Williams. Don't trust anybody like that. You can't trust those type of people. So, I don't know. I was blown away. Nobody, as a Saints fan, thinks that we're winning the Super Bowl. But it's one of those situations where it's like, he was talking about how Derek Carr's not good. He's been in the league. It's like, yeah, buddy, we know. But it's like one of those, like, somebody talks bad about your little brother, and it's like, well, shut the fuck up, pal. Like, that's our idiot. That's our idiot, okay? Kurt Benkert looks like he's still sipping on Capri Suns. He made his name doing video game reviews. He goes on and makes college football 25 videos just running glitchy plays and racking up views because it's a bunch of little kids that just want to watch somebody play the game. So Kurt Benkert is a lifetime loser. And we really shouldn't be giving his opinion really much of paying any mind to it, but here we are. So I tip my cap, Caprice, on Kurt. You probably got some views out of it, but I would bet him my house that the Saints win more than 1 game. So if you're a football guy.
Yeah, it wasn't even making sense.
No,
He was like, he's like, they're going to win 1 game. He's like, I can see him looking at this schedule. They got 1 guaranteed win on this schedule.
Like, what are you talking about?
And then he goes, I see him winning 4 games. He goes, and then at the end of the video, he's like, 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. But you're looking at a team with probably a top 10 defense and a probably top 5 easiest schedule in the league, and you're talking about 1 game. So, Kurt Benkert's a clown. I hate that fucking name, dude. Kurt Benkert. You cannot trust anybody with the same name and their first and last name. You can't do it. So, I just figured we would touch on that for a second. That guy. All right, let's talk about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson had their press conference the other day. They're going to fight, apparently. What are your thoughts?
I got Mike Tyson.
No, what are your thoughts about just the whole thing?
Oh yeah, Jake Paul's guy.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. I think I'm over this Jake Paul experience. I think Jake Paul's not a horrible boxer, but he keeps talking about how he wants to do this the right way, and I'm going to work my way up, and I'm the face of boxing. It's like, buddy, you're not the face of fucking boxing. And you're fighting either somebody that's drastically undersized or about to file for Social Security. Like, I love Mike Tyson. I've watched Mike Tyson was before my time, but I've watched so many Mike Tyson. I've watched the highlight tape a million times. Like, there's certain people in sports that Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Mike Tyson, like there's these people that transcend generations that are like the best of all time, and Mike Tyson is. I do not care to see a 60-year-old, basically Mike Tyson with stomach ulcers go up there and fight somebody massively younger and in better shape than Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. And the press conferences make me sick where the dude, he talks so much shit about Conor McGregor, but he's a great value Conor McGregor. He's a knockoff Conor McGregor with he's trying to talk shit up there, but he's shaky on the mic. He stumbles on his words. He does the face-off thing where he extends one arm like Conor McGregor. It's like he's Conor McGregor on well, they're both on steroids, but with acne and a receding hairline. So that's the difference, and a ton of less talent. But I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. That would be like fucking what's the young basketball TikToker? Tristan Jazz?
Yeah.
It'd be like him playing Michael Jordan in one-on-one, but not even because Jordan's bigger and can fucking probably just back him down and win. But it's the equivalent of that. I don't need to see this fucking dimwit fight one of the greatest fighters to ever fucking, just him saying like, oh, he says he gave me my start. Well, I'm going to end him. But he hasn't fought in fucking decades.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think Mike can beat him.
If he does, that'd be incredible.
What's the odds? I don't think the odds are that.
I'm sure it's not close.
No. I think Mike's only a 2-1 underdog.
That seems crazy, but I mean, I understand. It's Mike fucking Tyson. I understand. He just had stomach ulcers. They had him walking with a cane.
Yeah, but he's a freak of nature.
I understand, but they had him walking with a cane. Like,
I think Jake Paul is good, but he's not pro good.
No, he's not.
That's why when he fought
the first even kind of pro.
Yeah, who's not even really a pro, he lost.
Yeah.
But his footwork's sloppy. He has good power, so I mean if he hits Mike,
I don't even see it on.
I got it right here.
What you got?
It's got Jake Paul at minus 180.
Yeah, I mean that's not. What is Tyson?
For boxing, that's
Tyson's
not
plus 140.
That's
that's pretty close odds.
Close odds.
But doesn't it doesn't bother you though?
It's gonna bother me if he beats Mike Tyson up.
Yeah.
So, I guess kinda.
I don't even want to see it. I don't want to see it unless Mike Tyson starches him or something. Don't see it happening because he's almost fucking 60. Like, and this is a guy. Mike Tyson 60 is a regular man's 85. Mike Tyson put his body through some shit.
Yeah, I mean, but he looks like he's in.
Mike
like
Tyson,
if you were to say that guy's 60, you'd be like, oh, he's in really good shape for 60.
No,
years
of course.
old.
But this guy's been to prison probably a couple times, I think. He's done a litany of drugs. He's put his body through the fucking ringer. So street fight after street fight, fucking got that story of Mitch, whatever his name, fighting him in the barbershop, like getting in. Just that's what I'm saying. Like when I'm 60, I'm gonna be 60. Like my body's gonna be in much better shape. Not necessarily shape, but not as much wear and tear as what Mike Tyson's seen throughout his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a guy who's lived a wild fucking life. He had tigers as pets, and was doing whatever the fuck he wanted. So I just don't care to see it. I think Jake Paul's a cornball, dude. I really do. Saying he's the face of boxing and he runs this shit as he's fighting fucking Mike Perry. Mike Perry was a average at best UFC fighter, not even. And when you see them stack up side by side, he was so much bigger. He was twice his size. Like, you got Brendan Schaub sucking Jake Paul's dick, talking about this is his toughest opponent. Brendan Schaub, shut the fuck up. Go film another shitty fucking 20-minute comedy special, you fucking clown. I'm just tired of the Jake Paul experience. I really am. All right. You saw the USA won the gold medal count in the Olympics?
Weren't they tied?
Yes, but okay, so that's funny you say that. Justin, did you see that the gold medal count? Do you watch the Olympics?
Yeah.
So USA had 40 golds, China had 40 golds, but we got them on silvers and bronzes. Mm-hmm. So technically, by the tiebreaker, we won. But there was a big controversy going on in the Olympics where a female, quote-unquote, boxer You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
She won the gold medal. Bam, bet on it, he said. Made some money on it. Everybody started hammering Iman Khalif to win the gold medal. She beat a Chinese woman who got the silver. There were a lot of Americans who were not happy about this woman who has XY chromosomes. So as far as I can tell, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, it means she's got nuts, but they're just in her body. So she produces testosterone, and she's got balls to get in that ring, but she's also got balls in her body. But it's kind of poetic justice that she beats China to win gold, and we win the gold medal count because of her.
Yeah.
She's a hero. All these people, I was talking to my uncle, and he was like, I was nervous we weren't going to get the gold medal count. Like, it is funny. The Olympics roll around, and it's like just a way for everybody to be like, look at me, I'm a fucking patriot. I love USA. Yeah. We got to win the gold medal count. Like, I don't give a goddamn shit about the gold medal count. I care to watch the runners and the swimmers and all of that, and it's awesome. I love the Olympics. But if USA loses the gold medal count, I don't give a fuck. Like, is it football season yet? Like, I don't care. But so everybody's like, it wasn't just my uncle. There was a lot of people who were like, I was sweating out that gold medal count. It's like, yeah, well, the Iman Khalif is the reason we won. So yeah. Tip your cap to her. Takes balls to get in the ring. Let's see. Oh, dude, I got to talk about, yeah. So only a couple more things, and then two more things, and then we'll get to the games. I went to Whole Foods the other day. It was a fucking disaster. We have those, we fill up waters at Whole Foods because we're healthy. And we have glass bottle jugs, 5-gallon jugs, 2 of them. So 10 gallons of water from Whole Foods. And so I fill up the first one, and this guy's waiting right next to me. And he's like, as soon as I get done with the first one, he's like trying to like pull his cart up to start filling his up. Well, I have a second one, and he can clearly see it. So he's like getting all fucking huffy puffy. So I fill up the second one, and I'm trying to hurry for this fucking piece of shit. And I didn't push the first one all the way back. So I put it in, and it goes like slides down. The 2 big-ass 5-gallon jugs slide down each other. And then they're in the center of the cart, and I pull the cart, one shatters. 5 gallons of water in a whole I'm talking like shards of glass. Glass everywhere, 5 gallons of water filling up the fucking store. And I literally, it happens. Like, as I pull the cart, shatters, I audibly, I said, no shot. And then I turned back and look, and there's an employee. It was like the scene out of Superbad where he drops the glass, he drops the beer, it starts going everywhere. And the employee's like, fuck my life. And he's like, somebody should clean that up. That was me. I just looked at him like, I'm sorry. This jackass turns and goes, you know, if they were plastic, they wouldn't break. And I looked at him and I was like, I stared at him for like a solid 10 seconds, like direct eye contact. Because, I mean, it's like, it's more of just like, wow, this fucking sucks that this just happened. But I'm not like embarrassed, really. Like, I don't care. But I look at him, I'm like, you really think so? And he's like, yeah. If it's like, in my head, I'm like, we got the glass bottles because we're trying not to get cancer and die. So,
yeah, and we're trying to save the planet.
Keep drinking your fucking but I was about to be like, I can't slice your throat with this fucking, if this was plastic. Like, dude, I called Lindsay. I was like, we got to bounce. So we got to get out of here. They just started cleaning it up. We just left. But 5-gallon water jug shattered right in the center of Whole Foods. Everybody saw it. Last thing, did you see Daryl Doucette talk about if flag football got brought into the Olympics?
That's a flag football player?
Quarterback.
I kind of saw something about it where he was, I guess.
Basically, Daryl's worried that his spot's going to get taken. He must have watched Hard Knocks where Caleb Williams was like, I'll tell you what, I want to play on that if they do it. So Daryl was like, they think that just because they're in the NFL, they can come play on this team? Yeah, Daryl. Yeah. You're fucking out. You're 5'7", pal. If Caleb Williams decides he wants to play on that motherfucking team, did you watch the preseason game? Did you see what he was doing? Daryl's fucking out. If Caleb Williams or if even Kurt Benkert wants to fucking play on that team, Daryl Doucette is no longer on flag football team. I thought it was hilarious that he's like, what, just because they're in the NFL? It's like, yeah, just because they're in the NFL. They're going to come play on the flag football team if they want to. If we're trying to compete for golds, talking golds, Daryl's not leading us to a gold. Daryl's 5'7". So I do think it's hilarious when they're like, he takes offense to that. Like that's his thing. He's the quarterback of the USA flag football team.
The Chinese are pretty good at flag football.
What is going on with Team USA losing to, well, I don't even know what the fuck they were playing. They're playing football, but I don't know. They kept
the Japanese?
Yeah, they kept they were losing everybody.
I don't know what was going on there, but yeah.
Who's playing on these fucking teams?
Happy Japanese kids.
I don't understand who is playing on these teams that we're losing. We should not lose football to anybody outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but I thought that was funny where Daryl Doucette was like, they're not taking my spot. It's like, buddy, your spot's gone. It's gone. You're there you're there to fucking field a team currently. But as soon as you better pray to God it's not in the off season. But it will be. It'll be in the Summer Olympics. You're done for, Daryl. You're done. So I don't know. I thought that was funny. What else? Anything else?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. So we are on to week 0. Again, hit that subscribe button. And again, Big Easy Bets is brought to you by BetStamp. You can help out our podcast. You don't have to do anything. You got to find a place to bet on these games. BetStamp has you covered. You go to signupexpert.com/BigEasyBets. Pick the sportsbook you want. Pick the promo code that suits you best, $5 for $150 on some of them. And then you go place those on one of these week 0 games that we are about to dive into. We will start it off with the biggest game of the weekend by far. You've got Florida State taking on Georgia Tech. This game is going to be in Ireland. College game day is going to be there, so it's first game of the day, 11 a.m. We're starting it off. We're hitting the ground running. So I guess I'll go first on this one. I have a good bit written down. This game has come down to a key number. All righty. So, like I said, Florida State, Georgia Tech, the line currently sits at 10. Florida State was obviously robbed of a college football playoff berth last year. We all know it. An undefeated ACC champ didn't get in because they lost their quarterback, and the committee knew that everything was changing starting this year, so they felt like they could get away with it, and that's what they did. The Seminoles got robbed. You know it. I know it. But that undefeated season is long gone. The Florida State offense is going to look completely different. Jordan Travis, Trey Benson, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, and Jaheim Bell all gone. That's your quarterback, running back, 3 wide receivers, an entirely new look offense. In comes DJ Uiagalelei. We all know him, Oregon State. After he went to Clemson, then he goes to Oregon State. He's a limited guy, but he can be successful if put in the right position. The Noles have to fill a 900-yard, 14-touchdown hole left from Trey Benson. They're going to try to fill that hole with 4-star previous Alabama running back Roydell Williams. Personally, I think Roydell Williams will be able to fill that hole. He didn't have a huge sample size at Alabama, but last we saw him was against Georgia. He had 16 carries, 64 yards, and a touchdown. I have a little more skepticism at the wide receiver position. Malik Benson's the hope on the outside to be the burner to kind of step up as the number 1 guy over there. So a lot of question marks with Florida State. Georgia Tech is coming off of a 7-6 season. The 7th win came in the bowl game. Offensively, Georgia Tech had some solid players, and to their credit, they managed to keep just about all of them and avoid any portal poaching. They had a running back go for 1,000 yards. Haynes King, I think he led the ACC in touchdowns. On the flip side, though, where they kept pretty much everyone on an offense, they did not really add anyone to an abysmal defense, one of the worst defenses in the country. They were 128th against the run. That's out of 130 teams. The spring game, if you watch the spring games, we try to watch as many as we can. I watched Georgia Tech's. It did not show any signs of improvement. There was nothing in the spring game that led me to believe that this is going to be, and I get it, it's a small sample size, but nothing that leads me to believe that this is going to be a much improved rushing defense. Georgia Tech does return multiple quality offensive linemen. It's going to probably be the strength of their team. Couple all ACC guys. here's how I'm looking at this game. I think the best time to take Florida State is going to be early, before teams can see how Norvell's going to plan for DJU and try to scheme the offense up around his strengths and weaknesses. The trenches should tell the tale in this one. Like we talked about, Georgia Tech does have a very good offensive line, but Patrick Payton's going to be one of the best players, if not the best player on the field. I think he's going to be able to get in the backfield. Haynes King is mobile. Offensively, Georgia Tech did not give up a lot of sacks. A lot of that was due to the fact that Haynes King is able to use his legs. I think that Florida State's defense is going to be very good. Their defensive line is going to be fantastic. The secondary is going to be very good. On the flip side, it's just a lot of question marks. It's week 0, so you take week 0 with a grain of salt. It's what is Florida State going to look like, but also is Georgia Tech going to be able to stop the run? I think the most sustainable way to victory here, and now this has come down to 10 points, I think Florida State's going to have a big advantage in the trenches offensively. They're going to move a Georgia Tech defense that, again, 128th against the run, also 109th last year in getting to the quarterback. Florida State should live in the backfield, making Haynes King's life difficult. He has a turnover problem. He led the ACC in touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he led the ACC in interceptions as well. Has he been able to, again, week 0, take it with a grain of salt, a lot of question marks. Has Haynes King been able to clean up the turnover issue? I don't think so. Is Georgia Tech going to magically be able to stop the run? I don't think so. I think that I'm more confident in Florida State's stacked defense to come up with the timely stops needed, and then they'll be able to run the ball, hit a couple play actions. I feel confident in Florida State minus 10. Where are you going with this one?
Yeah, it's kind of a lot what you said. Florida State, they have to replace almost all of their meaningful production from a season ago. You said it, DJU at quarterback, not the same type of player Travis was, but we kind of talked about it in the preview, what we expect Florida State to do this year. They have a really good offensive line. You mentioned Roydell Williams from Alabama. They also return Lawrence Toafili at running back. I think they'll have a good bit of running back depth here. You mentioned it in your breakdown. Georgia Tech gave up 223 rushing yards per game last year, and they also gave up 3.5 line yards per rush. It's just, I think Florida State's going to be able to run it at will on them, and the question's going to be when it gets a third down if DJU can make the plays. I think he's good enough. He's definitely hasn't lived up to the hype that was around him at Clemson, trying to replace Lawrence and all that. But I think this offense will help him, especially being behind a really good offensive line and having good running backs to run the ball. The other big question is what you mentioned. Georgia Tech's defense is horrific against the run, but their offense was actually really good. You mentioned the offensive line, while like they gave up 3.5 line yards per rush, the offensive line on the offensive side of the ball rushed for 3.5 line yards per rush. So it's kind of like a question here, is the Georgia Tech offense going to be good enough to keep them in the game? And you mentioned Florida State's defense, what they have on that side of the ball. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to keep them in the game, but I think that it might be good enough to put up some points here. I'm going to take Florida State minus 10, but I'm also going to take the over 55.5.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a side we were talking about a little bit. I lean over as well. It's week 0, so it's so easy to go back and forth on what did I feel was the best bet. Was it Florida State with the points? Was it the over? I was going back and forth. This number came down to 10. This was almost touching 14 at one point. So take that for what it's worth too. Clearly money is coming in on Georgia Tech. But it's just, what do you feel is the most sustainable path to victory? This is it. Notoriously, Ireland has not been kind to us for week 0.
No.
So it's tough. You got to get your eyes on these teams. We hit a stride after a couple weeks, like I think most quality sports bettors do. Once you can get your eyes on these teams, you can get a better feel for what's going on. I like Mike Norvell. I think he's a very good coach. I think I don't put any stock. Let me just go on record saying I don't put any stock into them getting hosed last year. I don't think that plays a role at all. So a lot of people are saying like they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder and they're going to do this and that. I don't fucking care about that. I don't think that really matters much. It just matters on, is Florida State going to be able to, is Georgia Tech going to be able to stop Florida State running the football? If they can, then we're in trouble. but I don't think they can. I think Roydell Williams and you said Toafili. I think they're going to be able to have a lot of success. I think they can use DJU in the run game as well. But the way I look at it, and some people could disagree, I think I've said it multiple times. I think the best time to take Florida State is going to be early. So they got full depth, and then it's plenty of time for Mike Norvell to scheme up for Georgia Tech. So,
yeah, it's going to be Florida State's not going to put a lot of weight on DJU. It's going to be they're going to try to run the ball, and I think in this match, this is a great matchup for them offensively because that's going to be what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if
you remember that game a couple years ago. Travis got hurt against Louisville.
Yeah.
And Rodemaker came in.
Yeah.
But, dude, they were running it all over Louisville. I think you kind of see them go back to that. I mean, last year they had so many playmakers on that team that sometimes you kind of saw the offense not really flow that well. So I think they kind of have more of an identity here. With them, I expect them, and everyone does, to run the ball a lot this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they have quality guys at receiver. We don't know who the number one's going to be, and they don't have as much NFL talent as far as we know. But we got to see. I mean, we got to get our eyes on these teams. So, Justin, are you on this game?
Yeah, you two basically covered it all, so I'm going to try not to repeat or go over anything that you guys said. But
yeah, no, I mean, we kind of, yeah, exactly that. We kind of, unless you're on the other side, are you on Florida State or are you taking Georgia Tech?
No, I'm actually on the opposite of both of you guys. I took Georgia Tech plus, I got it at 12 yesterday. And then I'm going to take the under at 55.5.
Oh, wait, hold on. Timeout. We made the rule. It's got to be spread that's available today. So we made that rule last year. So what? I know an 11.5. I think 11 was available today.
Yeah, 11.5 was 2. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well,
I'll do 11.5. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's 10, I might just stay away. But
what's
for your under? It's high as 56.5 at Caesars.
56.5.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
All right. But, yeah, I mean, like you guys said, I mean, DJU's coming in with kind of like a new offense. And so I'm kind of banking on that they're going to have some kinks to work out. And then, Georgia Tech's returning 17 starters between offense and defense. So, I mean, I'm just kind of banking on Haynes King. He's going to get back to how he ended the season last year. And then they're getting back Jamal Haynes, who had 1,000 yards on the ground last year. And,
no, they've got guys on offense. So, yeah, it just depends how you look at this game. They do have continuity on the offensive side of the ball. They had they had Haynes go for Jamal Haynes go for 1,000 yards. Haynes King is mobile. Haynes King has shown the ability to play well, but he's also shown the ability to turn the football over. So it's just which Haynes King are you going to get?
And then Florida State, they returned basically their whole secondary. So that was another reason why I like the under as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see. That's what's great about it. That's why, dude, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch game day. I think the most sustainable way is run it down their throat. And then, I mean, do you think Haynes King's really cleaned up the turnovers?
I mean, I think that they're kind of similar to Florida State with their strong because they ran the ball well last year. Let me see, 13th ranked rushed offense in 2023.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the ball is definitely going to be moving up and down the field. It's going to be the question is what happens when it gets into the red zone. You know, if they're settling for field goals, then the game's going to go under. If it's
Florida State's defense is fucking good. Going to be good, though.
Yeah.
The secondary is going to be good. And I'm telling you, dude, I mean, I know you know. Patrick Payton's a stud. So, and they've got multiple guys on that D-line. It's like, yeah, that's great. Georgia Tech's offensive line is good. I know it's good. but I think Florida State's defensive line is better. And then I think even if it does hold up, the secondary is good for Florida State. Very good. One of the best in the ACC. So, yeah. Okay. And at 10, dude, it's come to it just out of principle. I got to take it at 10. I got to take Florida State at 10. So, so I'm on Florida State minus 10. You're on that as well. Also the over 55.5.
Yep.
Okay. And then Justin, you're on the complete opposite. Georgia Tech with the points plus 11.5. And then Justin's on the under 56.5. I have one more. How many total do you have?
One more.
Is it SMU Nevada?
Yeah.
All right. We'll dive into that. So SMU versus Nevada. Just a little quick synopsis of this matchup. SMU is making the move to the ACC. They're returning Preston Stone at quarterback. They won the American. They won the AAC on their way out the door. Now they're in the ACC now, right? SMU's in the ACC now. Pretty certain.
Is it the eight? Yeah.
Yeah, the ACC.
So they left the American, won the conference championship on the way out the door. Preston Stone got hurt last year. If you remember, we were on SMU a couple times. Jennings is a good backup, so he's decent enough. But Preston Stone's one of the better, probably going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. Nevada, it's going to be Brendan Lewis or Chuba Purdy. Doesn't really fucking matter. Under center, playing quarterback. They come into the season with a new head coach, Jeff Choate. After back-to-back 2-10 seasons, SMU returned nearly everybody. They went 12-2, conference championship, and obviously won the bowl game. Playmakers, quarterback, leading tacklers, everybody's back, just about. Life's going to be much tougher in the ACC this year, but week 1 should be no sweat. I'd probably stay away from this under normal circumstances if it wasn't week 0, because it is a very big number, but there's no way on God's green earth that I would feel confident taking Nevada. So we are going to lay the points with SMU, which I see 25.5, maybe 25.
24.5 is available.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
24 would be nice. Do you have anything on this one?
You kind of mentioned it. I mean, SMU, a lot of people know them for how good their offense has been in years past, but what's really stepped up is their defense. Last year, they had the 18th ranked offense in total yards and the 14th ranked defense in total yards. They're returning almost all their production from offense and defense. And like Logan said, Preston Stone's back. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC now. Nevada's not really in a good position, and their offensive line is in a total shambles. So they're going to have their hands full. I mean, you've looked at this line. I think it opened up under 20, 18, 19, something like that, and then it grew all the way to 27.5, and then now we're seeing some buyback the week of the game. It's down to 24.5. So it's kind of what you expect this early in the season, is a lot of volatility in the market. But I agree with Logan. I'm going to lay the big number on the road with SMU. I just think they're head and shoulders above and way better than Nevada. Nevada's got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to take SMU minus 24.5.
Yeah, this is if anybody feels good about Nevada, I would love to hear why. Other than the fact that it's a big number.
They were so bad last year.
Yeah, I mean, the last game, Wyoming, they lost 42-6. I understand it's a different year, but it's like SMU's damn good. They are. And like I said, they return just about everybody. So it is a big number, but for me personally, I don't know that you can make this number big enough for me to take Nevada and feel good about it. But under 4 touchdowns, I'll take SMU. Are you on this one, Justin?
I'm not.
Okay, you said you got one more?
Yeah, I got one more.
I'm out of breath, dude, because I had to just go beat the fucking shit out of my dog. Go ahead.
I'm going to Hawaii and Delaware State. This line opened up, I want to say, at minus 27. Now it is all the way at
It's like 40.
34.
No, it's higher than that.
38.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just climbing. But, I mean, football's back when you got Hawaii playing at midnight to start things off. Hawaii might not be good, but they are not Delaware State bad, who's coming off of a 1-10 season, with their only win being against Virginia Lynchburg, and I couldn't really find any stats on them. And then Hawaii threw for 350 yards a game last year, which was 27th in the country. And then they're returning their quarterback, Braden Shager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good.
He gets his top 2 receivers, who both almost had 1,000 yards each and 9 touchdowns each. So, not saying Hawaii is a good team or anything, but I expect them to light up the scoreboard against Delaware State. And they have already missed their flight to Hawaii. So, they're already off to a hot start. So, I'm going to take Hawaii minus 34.5.
Going to the island. Yeah, no. I mean, there's no way I'm touching this on week 0, but yeah, same thing. I don't know how you take Delaware State and feel good about it other than the fact that it's goddamn nearly 100 points. But, yeah, I got nothing on this. I didn't even look at it. Do you have anything on this?
No.
On the other one, I would have leaned Montana State, but that line grew. Dude, these numbers are moving.
Yeah.
I would expect I would take the 10 on Florida State ASAP. I would expect there's going to be some buyback. I would be shocked if this closes at 10 or less. But call me crazy because, I mean, it's week 0. Yeah, that's all I got. So, obviously, week 0 is always smaller. So, I guess we got to claim a lock, though. For everybody that's always listened, you know we have a locks portion of the episode where there's no such thing as a lock, but it is our best bet of the week. We're not going to do like a lock segment this week because it's such a small card being week 0. But for the sake of the record, I guess we got to claim one. If you had to, what's your lock?
Mine's going to be the FSU Georgia Tech over 55.5 points.
Okay. Mine is going to be, fuck me, man. It'll be Florida State minus 10. Florida State minus 10 will be my lock of the week. Justin, what will yours be?
Mine's going to be the Florida State and Georgia Tech under.
Okay. Again, there is
Back
no...
where we started, huh, Justin?
There, yeah. When things change, some things stay the same. There is no such thing as a lock. I have to give you that disclaimer now. There is no such thing as a lock, but if there was, it would be Florida State minus 10. To recap, very quick, Florida State minus 10 and SMU minus, what did we say, 24.5? You're on
Florida State minus 10, Florida State, Georgia Tech over 55.5. That's my lock. And then SMU minus 24.5.
Okay. Justin?
I got Hawaii minus 34.5.
No. You cannot take 34.5.
It's 38.5.
Yeah, it's got to be same day numbers, okay. And we cannot give you goddamn 5-point difference, nearly a touchdown. If it's
up to 40.5 on FanDuel.
What's the lowest he can get?
38.5.
38.5. If you still want it, you can have it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hawaii minus 38.5. Georgia Tech plus 11.5. And my lock is going to be Georgia Tech, Florida State under 55.5.
Alrighty. All right. Obviously, week 0 is always one of our shortest episodes. It's a very small slate of games. Like I said, we will be back for week 1. And, I mean, I'm telling you, I might have fucking 20 plays. It's going to be, depending on how week 0 goes, obviously not 20, but we're going to have much more than 2. I can promise you that. What we're talking about doing is potentially a group money line parlay that would consist of Joseph calling in and giving his 4th leg of the money line parlay. We would each contribute 1 leg each week. Joseph would have to take a break from snorkeling and drinking Mai Tais on the beach to dial up. We're tentatively saying nothing more. Can't go higher than a minus 400 on the money line. But I mean, I might get crazy and give you a plus money to throw in there.
Yeah.
But so week in and week out, we're talking about it. We'll probably do it a 4-leg money line parlay that everybody on the podcast contributes to. But episode 192. Do you have anything to say before we go?
I hope Florida State wins 56-0, Justin.
You got anything to say before we go, Justin?
No.
All right, everybody. Episode 192 is in the books. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it if you do. Like I told you, we are going to make money this year. We do it every single year. Knock on epoxy-covered wood. It's going to be a fun year. Come along for the ride with us. Like I said, this is the appetizer. You can't get to the main course until you get through the appetizer. We only have a couple weeks out of the year where we don't have NFL, and our only focus is college football, so enjoy it while we have it. And yeah, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate everybody who listens. There's money to be made, so we might as well make it. Y'all have a good one.
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house. Been practicing this, a little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.